Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome back to Always Smiling Faces, Questions and Answers.
Well, actually, you're all smiling as well this week.
Look at all these smiling faces.
I haven't stopped me.
Because you're touching yourself, thinking about the saint.
I just think the saint.
About the saint. We'll call him the saint
The
now,
saint.
are we?
Saint Alan.
All right, okay.
Saint Alan.
Saint Alan, it's got a ring to it, hasn't it? Saint Alan, bless his soul. Anyway, let's dive straight in there and we'll go to Sam Zala. So Sam asks, why did Bruce get so much stick from some fans last week for digging out the players when Rafa used to say every other week that staying up would be a miracle? What's the difference?
Completely.
One's Rafa Benitez and one's Steve Bruce. That is the difference.
He's correct, isn't he, though? He's absolutely bang on.
Did you just assume Sam's gender?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Yeah, I did, yeah. Is it a girl or?
Well, looking at this, it's a small child.
Oh, bless Lush. I know, no. Yeah, he's absolutely bang on. I've said that for a while.
He or she is bang on.
He can't dean outright. I think it's just horrendous, to be honest with you. It's just shit crack. But
I understand. Fans didn't want him. We didn't want him. He's here. We're getting results.
Yeah,
that's the key thing.
Kind of.
Key thing is what happens on the pitch.
It
the
is.
key thing is what happens at the end of the season. Where we're at the end of the season. That's the overall aim, isn't it?
Of course it is. But you still have to judge everything, don't you? You judge how it's going.
There was only a few not so long ago. There was us three and Bessie were here. So they should be sacked now after the Leicester game. I think it was.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Well, literally saying shouldn't be in charge of another game.
But that doesn't. I might just be different to other people, but that doesn't change my opinion when he says something. That is probably correct, and then people will go, "Yeah, what are you saying that for? It's a disgrace." But then the previous person, or not just Rafa, I'm on about loads of people, will probably say exactly the same thing, but seem to just get away with it. I'm sure that can't be right. That's just not right.
It is very similar stuff that's being talked about, isn't it?
Very similar. So, I mean, Jesus Lord. I mean, he apparently was really not happy about it. Bruce like caught in the press today that that quote about being on the toilet. You seen the poster?
Yeah.
The Chronicle was saying, I listened to the podcast on the way, and he said that he was not happy that got leaked. Apparently, that was like a sort of off the cuff remark that shouldn't really getting out. But everyone's hanging him out to dry for that. Like
oh shit.
He's went to the toilet. He's went into the toilet, had a shit like every man does, or every person does.
Some of my finest ideas come on, I'm having this shit. I'm being honest.
He's seen a poster I found and she hadn't realised. I wish I had them. I fucking do.
Everybody wishes to do that.
What is the problem with?
The most confusing thing here is why is there a picture of Shearer and Ferdinand in the bog?
It's that like picture roll paper.
Just famous moments.
They've got it. They sell it in Sports Direct. I'm sure. Beardsley, Rob Lee.
I'm just putting a picture of Saint on my toilet when I'm
be dead sticky, won't it?
Sticky as out.
We'll follow that on with a one from Robin on the topic of Steve Bruce.
I'm assuming there's a her gender as well.
Yeah. No, it's a picture of a man.
All right, okay.
So I'm saying Robin is male.
What's the surname?
Verhagen. So Robin says 11 games in, 12 points. How would you rate the job Steve Bruce has done so far?
It's hard, isn't it? Because
miracle, an absolute miracle.
Because we've seen some absolutely shocking performances, and we've seen some decent ones as well.
It's been a real mixed bag, hasn't it?
So the reason why I say it's a miracle, right, is now consider the position when he come in. Think of everything that was going on at that time. You've lost the best manager I've ever had. Possibly, right?
Top 2 goal scorers.
Right, we've exactly lost top 2 goal scorers.
Best manager we've ever had.
One of the best managers. Certainly, equally one of the ones that's united everything about the club, the city, and everything up there.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Yeah.
So to come in and follow him, to try and galvanise the team, to come in so late on in pre-season. I mean, really late on. Not one of the players as you're on. Them were already bought anyway. You've come in late in pre-season, you've tried to pick up a squad of players who are obviously going to be pissed off that Rafa's gone. Of course, everybody was. I was. To be in a position that we are now, I didn't expect to win a game, man. I'm not exaggerating here. Because I thought Bruce was as bad as that. And that's not trying to say that I'm right about Bruce being good. I thought we weren't going to win a game, man. I thought we weren't even going to score a goal. I thought it was going to be that bad. Honestly, I thought this guy is so poor, we're fucked. Honestly, and I mean that. And to be where we are now, honestly, I think it's a miracle. Honestly, I think it is a miracle.
If you explain it that way, then it makes sense.
Now, come the end of the season, I'm not predicting the end of the line. That's I put a tweet on, and a lot of people liked it, but a lot of people says, "Oh, we'll wait till the end of the season." I'm not talking about the end of the season. The end of the season, we might be fucking relegated. I'm only judging it over what I'm seeing now, and to be in the position we are, 6 points better off than last season, considering what the job, the whole situation was when Bruce come in. It is a fucking miracle, man. It's a miracle. I think, honestly, I do.
It's been a right mixed bag, like, hasn't it? As I say, we've had some very pleasing performances, some mediocre, and we've had some terrible.
We've had that for 10 years.
It's just
we've had that for 10 years.
It's finding that balance. The
Morelands,
positive,
maybe not Morelands.
The positive thing for me is that
Before someone comments.
Yeah. Well, only Morelands last 2 years. I mean, before that, for 10 years, probably 3 of them. Well, it wasn't a Moreland. It was 3-0, but it wasn't a Moreland. Fair enough, we didn't get mauled in a Rafa, but I'm on about the longevity. 9 times out of 10, we've been hammered many times in our life. Fuck me. Even though the season we finished 5th, I bet we got mauled sometimes then. Do you know what I mean? Like I agree. There's been some dreadful performances. Absolutely, there is. But for fuck's sake, when Newcastle United, man, we're gonna have some shit performances. I bet Southampton didn't think we're gonna be fucking 9-0 that day. It's just the way it goes, isn't it? You know what I mean?
That's fucking hilarious. Let's be honest.
And then Man City fucking could hardly beat them. Football's a funny game. It's a funny game, but.
So Francis is also on the subject of miracles, and he says, if Brucey pulls a miracle and keeps us up, does he deserve to stay next season?
100%. 100%. Rafa always said, sat around here, that surviving is the aim these days, and surviving is an accomplishment.
Sadly so.
So the same applies for Bruce.
Completely correct. Absolutely correct.
I'm going to disagree because obviously we're getting taken over this week. So Pep's on his way.
I think, and I will say in regards to Bruce, if if we had that expectation of Rafa, staying in the division's a good result. Yeah. If that's with Rafa at the helm, staying up's all right. God almighty, what is it with him in charge?
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Playoffs.
Well,
that's like win the league.
It goes back to that. The
question,
the first question, doesn't it? Is that every season Rafa's intention was to make sure we survived.
That's all he ever said, and that's absolutely
you've got to
correct.
Think, right? You've got to
correct
think, right?
as well.
Do you know what it is? Like, we'll constantly repeat ourselves on this podcast because we'll get criticised if we say anything positive towards Bruce, and we're not saying anything about negative against Rafa. We're not. We all wanted Rafa to stay. Every single Newcastle United fan probably wanted Rafa to stay. Yep. The thing that annoys me is that you've got a manager of Rafa's calibre. We were happy.
He didn't.
We were happy to take surviving.
I don't know if happy is the right word.
We accepted it. So we accepted surviving under Rafa. If we're not accepting...
In the hope that something...
But if we're not accepting surviving under Bruce, should we not have been putting Rafa on a higher pedestal? So we should have been expecting to be top 10, blah, 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 and pushing on because of who he was?
It's a fair comment.
But ultimately we were, weren't we?
We're what?
Pushing on, aiming to do that.
Towards the end of the season,
yeah.
But we're not there yet.
Yeah.
The start of the season was dreadful last year.
We're still
a long game, from August to November.
Oh, I
remember that. And again, though, and I think I made this point last week, was at that time the anger was voted and voiced at the right person or the right people at the club, and that was all for that. We hadn't won a game. They're still selling out at the ground. They were still behind Rafa. They were still behind the players. It was always a case of, well, it's not the players' fault. They're trying their best. They're just not good enough. It's Ashley's fault that we haven't won a game. Now, all of a sudden, it's our Bruce's fault.
Bruce is a target now.
So I cannot understand how that's moved. How is that moved?
It's just frustration from people, isn't it?
Well, maybe it is, but they're showing the frustration at the wrong individual, in my opinion. Yeah. I understand people might be pissed off Bruce is here. That's fucking fine. But whose fault is it that Bruce is here? Not Bruce's fucking fault, is it? Anyway.
But he could have turned it down.
But he's not, can he? I wouldn't turn it down. If Ashley offered us another, I wouldn't turn it down either.
Got a few questions about the defence. So, Toonlad89 asks, with all fit centre-backs fit, who would your starting 3 be in the current formation?
Do you know what it is? I don't change it right now.
No.
If they're all fit, you don't change it. You keep the 3 that are there right now.
Absolutely right.
So you keep Lascelles, Fernandez and Clark.
Yeah. Yep. And Ryan similarly asks, how do our 2 best centre-backs in Cher and Lejeune get back into the team?
Let's just take a moment to really, really fucking love the fact we've got the best back fucking 6 or whatever ever. Like, we've been so blessed. Like,
as numbers, we probably get the best centre backs in squad wise in the league.
It's mad, isn't it? Like, if you think it's always somewhere where we've massively struggled over the years, and
certainly in the Taylor and Colaccini days, Wani had two.
Yeah.
Williamson is
well,
third.
Mike Williamson.
No, I'm saying Williamson was third for years. It felt like I don't think we changed that sort of back three centre half ways for about 5-6 years.
Well, we're trying to do. We brought in Younger and Biwa. We brought in
can't remember the other ones.
the other black French defender whose name I can't remember now.
No, I can't
remember. But yeah, it's...
But now we're very, very lucky what we've got, and I agree with Kris. Is that you just got to stay with what you know for now until an injury or suspension.
Like
or
I mean, like I said at the start of the season, and I think I mentioned it last week that Clark would have been the one that would have missed out on a squad place for me to get Survey into the 23. But
Dora's the only other defender I can think of that you're talking about, and it's not him. I know that's what I mean. I can't think of the other one. You might have made that up, like.
I might have.
probably did, yeah. Probably.
But it's mad, isn't it? Like you've got like Clark has been fantastic since he's came in the last 2-3 games. Fernandez has just been him.
Most teams would love to be in the position where we are in regards to not just one defender, two. They drop out and we'll come back and replace them, and
it's seamless.
You don't miss
it's
them.
seamless, isn't it? Almost when they come in, it is amazing.
I mean, even like we've sat and we've criticised Lascelles at times, and you know he's been very good as well. You know, he was excellent at the weekend, but again, it's just I don't know whether it's having that little bit of calm around him, because Clark and Fernandez are just very, very calm and just relaxed, and they just want to defend, whereas Shea's a little bit more extravagant and tries to get forward and that kind of thing. And
I know I'm going to sound silly because Fernandez set up a goal the week before and then scored this week.
Yeah, Fernandez still likes to get it forward.
That's incredible. And more than Almiron's done.
Last home game, Fernandez was playing right wing back for most of the game, the first half.
But I still feel defensively we're more solid or more, I don't know, I just feel like I'm more comfortable when Fernandez is on. And that's not that I'm saying Shea's a bad player. I just feel Shea goes venturing so often that sometimes you can be a little bit short. And I love Shea, like, to be fair. I really do. What a player.
Callum, again...
One's going to go, by the way. You can't have 6 or 7 of these. Yeah. One's going to go. So.
Well, Callum again, this is about the defence, and he's, asking about Shea. If Shea was fit, would you stick him back in the team? He personally wouldn't, because Fernandez has came in and done a solid job. I feel that the international break next week will give Shea himself and the likes of Richie and Lejeune time to recover.
That's what worries us. So obviously we've got the Bournemouth game coming up, but let's say if we're going to that Bournemouth game and get results, so if we win that one, what happens after the international break? Because that's a chance for the manager to change it again.
I don't think Bruce he won't change it as willy-nilly as Rafa used to do after the international breaks, like with the travelling and stuff like that. I can't see him doing that as much as Rafa did in the past.
Manny hasn't put a foot wrong, and he was dropped.
Yeah, but I think that's maybe more tactical rather than...
I think so. Like, I don't want to knock Matty at all. Like, I really don't. I really think he's great, but I just felt that the Wolves' second half performance couldn't keep hold of the ball for.
We need the experience.
Yeah, Chelsea way was very similar as well. He lost the ball countless times, but he's a young lad. He's just learning. You know what I mean? It's fine. Wolves. The first half against Wolves, I thought he was mint. The second half, he couldn't keep the ball, and maybe that is why he brought Shelvey back and think that bit of composure in midfield, a bit of experience. But for me, going back to the defence situation, you've just got to keep. Fernandez has assisted a goal for you, the winner. Sorry, apologise. The first goal. Sorry, they scored at the weekend. He's been solid. None of the goals have been his fault that I can think of. He's in every week until the situation comes, injuries, suspensions, poor in a form, something like that.
James asks, does Willems maintain his position in the starting 11 when Richie is fit?
100%.
Richie is a key player, however, Willems has been very impressive so far.
Well, you go back a couple of weeks ago and we were all saying we need a leader on the pitch. We miss Richie, he's not shouting at anybody. Now you don't want him on the team. And the point I'm trying to make here is week by week opinions can change. Yeah. It just, you play all right one week and you win. It's like, right, we'll never drop these players again.
Football is a game that evolves each week, and we're fickle as fans, as much as people hate admitting it. Every single football fan is fickle. Because joining on the week before, he was shocking. This week, he was great.
He was.
That's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely right. No, you're right.
So he's straight back in the starting lineup next week. It's crazy, but you just got to admit that you take each game as it comes.
In regards to form, Williams has been good for 5-6 games.
Yeah.
Like he's been good for
He
a
hasn't put a
long
foot wrong since
period of
Arsenal
time.
game, really.
Exactly, long period of time. And
It's a tough one for me, that, because I love Richie to bits
I do.
for what he brings into the team and his attitude and he's the qualities that he has there. Williams has obviously got that bit more pace. He's linking up very, very well with Saint-Maximin.
them have got a good relationship now, them two. You say good friends and all. I think
Richie
that's the thing.
replaces Dummett on the bench for me.
He gives you more versatility, doesn't he? Because you can either versatility. You can play him at left back, left wing, right wing. So he's.
No, I totally agree.
You've got a bit more.
What I would say, and again, a positive is that you've got Richie coming back from what was a bad injury. We're not having to rush him back in.
Nah.
We can just take with time and go, all right, mate, just get yourself fit, and
Well,
when your
already,
chance
mate.
comes, it comes. You know what I mean?
That's the same with like it was just we've been talking about there with Lejeune and Cher.
Absolutely right, yeah.
We don't need to rush them back into the team because the lads that are in there playing at the minute are doing a fantastic job.
There's too many positives here.
I know.
There's too many.
Jesus,
What's going
right,
on
give us a
here?
negative.
Right,
Give us a
let's
negative,
find a
right?
negative.
There's a negative.
Need to take off.
Is there any regulars?
Oh, young Mono straight in there. Good lad. As good as Shelvey was on Saturday, how frustrating is it that he can play like this but not consistently?
So we mentioned this on the review of the West Ham result. We've said it throughout. He needs to play like this more often. We say it once every 7.
If he did, he'd still be at Liverpool. We wouldn't have him. There's a reason why we have him. It's because he's not consistent enough.
That's a shout.
I hate to be negative about us, but you have to remember sometimes why we have these players. I mean, people are about saying no end product. As I've said before, the last one, he'd be playing absolute top level football if he was the end product. I appreciate I want Shelvey to do more, absolutely, but if he was consistent and as good as he was on Saturday all the time, we wouldn't have him.
Like,
We wouldn't have him.
and Ben Bob asks me a question: how good was Shelvey? Like, you know, for the first half, his work rate, his effort, his passing, his movement was fantastic.
Yeah.
I've still got those question marks over his temperament, his attitude when things aren't going right. The two goals, I still point my finger at him for the 2 goals that were conceded
Really?
from.
I think I'm being a bit harsh with the second one, mind.
Absolutely not. So 100% it is his fault because
Absolutely not.
when you watch that goal, he does his classic Shelvey thing, and this pisses off me massively with him, is that point. So him and Yedlin are standing there with 2 players. Yedlin's in front of the bloke with the ball. There's a player who Shelvey's marked, comes to the edge of the box. That player then runs past Shelvey, and Shelvey points at him to Yedlin. When Yedlin is in front of the man with the ball, waiting to tackle him, Shelvey then goes, oh, hang on, he's not going to be able to get anywhere near him, is he? Because he's actually doing what he should be doing and looking after the man with the ball. And then makes a move, which is far too late because he's just simply rolled the ball to him. He then pulls the ball across to Snodgrass, who then puts in a fantastic finish.
Which actually should have blocked.
If Shelvey goes with his man, instead of stopping, pointing and telling somebody else to do, that ball does not get crossed.
Well, I agree. 2 things I will say. One, you're not going to change Shelvey now in this late in his career to all of a sudden be this switched on.
But he did it first half.
Yeah, and the second point I was going to make, I said 2. Second one is, he can't last 90 minutes. He can't.
That was...
And he hasn't played in 5 games.
That
Why?
would have been my criticism.
You've got
of-
to take him off and put
of
someone with
Bruce
some
there.
legs. I don't know. Was Matty on the bench? You think he was, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was,
Because
yeah.
I was shocked he didn't come. Honestly, was shocked. Because I thought Shelvey's starting to flag a bit, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Let's get a bit of energy on someone. You know,
That
that's what I
would
felt.
have been my criticism, is that we should have taken off Shelvey. And it was probably a difficult decision for Bruce to have to make because he
course,
had
yeah,
played
totally agree with
very
you.
well,
Totally
but
agree with
you could see that he was just starting to wane in his performance, and
That's a shout. That's a shout.
it wasn't there. But you know, I have to get a dig in at him
Of
somewhere.
course you do. And he did it well as well.
But definitely at fault for both those goals. Elliot asks, come the end of the season, who do you think will be our top goal scorer?
Clark.
It's a shout, mate.
Well, Shelvey's at the moment, isn't he? I think he's got 2.
Shelvey and Clark are both on
It's
2.
not going to be Almiron.
You never know. You
Sorry, I
never
had to
know.
get that in there. I'm going to say...
I think I said Dwight Gale last week, didn't I?
Oh, God, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Joe Lennon. I think he's going to start doing well in the second half of the season.
I hope so. How are you doing?
Joe Lennon.
I'm going to
On
go...
7.
I'll be alright at this stage.
I know.
I'm going to go out on a complete limb here, and I'm going to say Almiron.
You know,
Really?
because I was thinking the same.
Who takes penalties these days?
Well, it would be Richie if he was on. Shelvey said he'll never take one again.
Joe Linton.
Is it Joe? Is it?
Is it?
Isn't it?
I don't know.
You know, to be
You're just
honest.
making that up, aren't
I've had
you?
one.
Nah.
Actually, I think Shea. I think
Really?
Shea.
Yeah. Oh, God, you managed that.
Did you see
Central
one against
defender
Leicester? It was the
taking
best penalty I've seen. Leicester. You watch guy back and watch
I
the
know,
penalty,
I know.
He walked with his eyes closed, man. Backwards he walked with it. He went to alright, neighbour.
Has Joe Linton taken?
Did Almiron miss a penalty?
this
Yeah,
year?
he did. Well, Joe
right.
wanted to take it, and Almiron took it off him.
Is it
And
the
he-
cup?
In pre-season friendly.
Was it pre-season, was
Because
it?
it was almost like, this will be the
I was
goal.
going to say it, but it was shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah, terrible. Absolutely terrible.
We haven't had a penalty this season, have we?
No, we didn't get in the box.
What a shootout in the...
Yeah, aye, which Shelvey
game.
missed.
Yeah, and he
Hayden.
missed. Hayden's was poor. Like,
both of them were shocking.
Shelvey's was horrendous.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Right, next one, mate.
Anyway, yeah, that bad.
We'll do two more. Get two more in your mind.
I'm going to go total left field with mine.
All right, dumb it.
Whoever was signed in January.
All right, okay.
I was signing someone. Huh?
Well, we'll be signing Mbappe when this takeover
Takeover
goes through,
coming
isn't it? Daryl Mitchell Hill.
Such a dad thing to do, wasn't it?
Daryl asks, fantastic 3 points away from home
Daryl.
and very well worked goals. Wait for it.
Oh, sorry.
Gutted that Saint and Almiron didn't score, both a constant threat. Is it only a matter of time before either of them score?
So, Daryl, we've got a bone to pick with you.
Wait,
Daryl.
whoa, not yet. Not
Oh,
yet.
sorry.
Answer that question first.
No. Get on the next question.
What
No,
did he
come
say
on.
at the end of it? Sorry, what did
So,
he say?
is it only a matter of time before either of them score?
Yeah.
So, Saint
Oh,
and
yeah.
Almiron.
Yeah.
We're going to run wild soon, man.
The thing is, how
Almiron's getting closer and
I know,
closer and
how
closer.
long do you
isn't
keep
it?
saying? It'll come.
You all right there?
I've got a shiver there.
Do you know what I mean? Saint's getting far too much shit. He played 4 games for Christ's sake. I mean, he should have had 2 on weekend.
His
But,
shooting's been woeful.
no,
hasn't
but
it?
he played 4 games. How many's
He
Joe
hasn't scored
played?
in 3 years, though.
How many's Almiron's fucking played?
About 7.
And I still say that position of a winger. I still say the position of a winger is the most frustrating. There's not many in the world that is prolific, is there? Salah is, Sterling is, but who? There's not many
But they
wingers
don't-
that
they
are.
don't
Mane probably
really
is.
And
play
they're
as wingers, though, do
confident teams, like running wild on
They're-
every team they come against.
Do you just tell us someone outside the top 2 or 3 teams that play in that type of role that is prolific? There's not many in there.
Gareth Bale.
Prolific. Darwin plays golf. Does he fucking play?
Well,
Mind you.
not now.
Shite, man. No,
Right,
no.
get on the next one.
Rubbish that. That's a rubbish argument.
So his second question.
Rubbish.
Does it worry you that we nearly blew it and that a better team would have beaten us? So for those of you that don't know at home,
So Daryl caused a bit of anger amongst not just...
Daryl wound Deka up.
No, it wasn't his name. Mark Douglas as well. He was the first one I saw, Mark
So
Douglas.
Daryl rang up Radio Newcastle after the match. I think he was the first caller on Deka. You know better than me.
So Deka had a
'cause you
couple of hours
listened to it.
slagging him off first of all. Then he realised who it was.
We didn't find out until yesterday.
That was mental. It was mental because
So Mark Douglas had put a tweet out saying
First
the
caller,
first caller on Radio Newcastle is talking about how we nearly threw the game away
It's like
instead
doom
of
and gloom, yeah.
focusing on the
sorry, Daryl, mate.
the
but
positives.
I was in here watching it right now. Obviously, I left. I was fucking buzzing. Like honestly, I was excited what I had seen. I was like, fucking hell. We haven't scored more than 1 goal in the game. We scored 3 away from home, buzzing. Put the radio on. We've got a caller, and he didn't say his name. I didn't hear that. And then all of a
I'm
sudden,
not surprised.
I just literally felt that we had lost the game. It was almost. That's how it felt anyway at the time. Was well, I should probably be happy, but we nearly lost it there. And
I was buzzing me. I felt that. Buzzing.
I literally just went off, and I went, for fuck's sake! I was literally.
And I'm like, because you even tweeted it out like afterwards, because like I seen the tweet and I was like, obviously I didn't hear it like the call itself, but like I was thinking, well, surely it must have been like, oh, you know, we've had a really good performance, but you know we were hanging on a little bit at the end. Or something.
It wasn't that highly said.
That's
makes
what
sense.
I like. Thinking about like that, then I could 100% see what he was getting at, because as we said before in the review game, we thought we were hanging on at times towards the end.
Oh, we shit ourselves.
So you've got
I
to
don't think
think,
we're hanging up, but we're shit myself in case they got that equaliser.
and you can guarantee that if we had thrown that game away, there would be
but we
absolute
didn't know.
hell
But we
on.
didn't know. Why the fuck
But
would we
we
not?
didn't.
We didn't.
Well, you can't, and again, I didn't hear the call, but you can't just brush it under the carpet that we
No, but you can flip it
we
round.
conceded.
You
2
could flip it
goals.
round and look at the positive thing. Look how well we're done in the first half.
We're 3-0 up after an hour.
So that's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
from my point of view, I would have been like, we played very, very well. Great chances, created loads. However, the concern I had was...
No offence here, Daryl. Half the fuckers, not you, half the fuckers banging about the Keegan days. Oh, we'll score more than you. Fuck, it's amazing. Let's get some goals going. Win 3-2 is fucking hell when I threw it away.
So no offence, Daryl.
No offence to Daryl.
No offence, Daryl. You're full of shit.
But then I wrote a tweet out and I went, no, let's just leave.
I'm going to have to try and find this clip to
I was
listen.
like, what's the point?
I feel like I need to slag Daryl off, but I kind of get where he's coming
We've
from.
got one more, mate.
And anyway, I deleted it. Then I went on and I seen Mark Douglas put that on. I was like, you're fucking right. I had to turn it off. And then obviously I found out it was Daryl. So, Daryl, I apologise, mate.
No, don't apologise. He was wrong. Tell him.
You were wrong, like, bro.
So,
no hard feelings, anyway. No hard feelings.
Max, so he's got 2 good questions here.
Oh, and I got one from Neil Jarvis.
So, not that I found yet. So, Max asks, who are the most overrated and underrated players in the squad?
Ooh, that's harsh. That like, I'm not even going to answer the overrated one. Like,
Jonjo, Shelvey.
I'm not. Nah, I'm not having it. I'm not being negative at all this week.
Overrated?
Nah.
I can't think of any, I'll be honest with you.
Joe Linton, you were saying last week.
Underrated.
No one rates him. No one rates Joe Linton.
Underrated Kieran Clark.
Rates.
Oh, it's a shout that like.
Yeah,
Fernandez. Fernandez for me.
Do you think he's underrated?
No, I think he's held in good regard.
Nah, I think he's underrated. He could
By
easily be.
us or by others?
No, as others, I think he should be a starting centre back.
If you're thinking by others, I think Saint-Maximin was very underrated because I don't think West Ham knew who he was, what he was capable of doing, or anything. It was like as if.
I fucking do now.
Well, and that's what I mean.
Zabelletta does.
Like
Zabelletta still looking for him?
Zaballetta's sitting in the corner of his house. Like,
He's not. He's just at the corner flag, just shaking. He's
Gucci
still there now.
headband.
Do you see
Gucci
that?
headband.
That Simpsons one. I think I sent it to the group, didn't I? They're on the bus and he's like laughing. I'm in danger.
Do you know when people have like sleep paralysis and that? That is Zabelletta. Now he's just lying in bed. All he can see is a Gucci headband running across his room.
I'd say Clark's a good shout, Clark, because I don't
Clark
know.
for me, yeah.
You didn't want him in the school. You wanted Savvy ahead of him. So that's it.
I know.
Willems. Is he called Willems or Willems?
Willems.
Or Willems.
Willems.
You think he's underrated as well?
Yeah.
What? Nah, I'm not having that.
I think yeah.
Maybe he's at the start of the season.
All of them. Would have fucking win the league.
I've changed my mind on overrated.
No, but not answer
From
that one.
Shelvey.
No one go.
No answer that
Kraft.
Well, no one.
one. Hey, no one rated.
No one rated him. Rated his last.
Steve Bruce did.
Next.
He didn't buy him.
So Max, this is a
I
toughie.
don't want to end on a bad one.
This is a toughie. So if you were forced to sell one of Alan Saint-Maximin,
Oh my fucking god.
the best dribbler in the world,
Never sell him.
I'm not supporting the club
Fabian
again.
Schär,
I don't get who's next.
Sell him.
We're
top
not sell-
5 centre backs in the
Gone.
league,
Gone.
Sell them all.
or Sean Longstaff,
Sell him.
Gone.
top 10
Both of them.
prospects in the
Gone.
Premier League.
Keep saying
Who
gone.
would you sell and why?
Both of them.
I'd sell the club before Saint. I'd literally just have Saint on his own. Sell them all.
I would sell both all the Longstaff family, all of them. Every single Longstaff in this country
dear
can
me.
fuck off.
It's
Saint is
you
never
know,
leaving.
I don't want to sell any of them.
I
like, but
won't
it's
go
like,
back if I get rid of Saint. Like, I'll not go back.
Fuck Mike Ashley. When I sell Saint, I'm never going back.
I'm just kidding.
Don't sell Saint-Maximin, Alan Saint-Maximin. I just don't think you understand.
You wouldn't, honestly. I'd never go back.
And on that night,
totally joking.
on that note,
Night.
good night.
Thanks to Guglielmo Glow and thanks to Johnny Giss for sponsoring the podcast. See you
Don't
later.
sell the Saint, Alan the Saint.